Hello, everyone. My name is Dan. I grew up in the suburbs of New York City, but I've been here in San Diego for about 3.5 years now. After growing up in a big city like New York and all the hustle bustle, it truly has been a pleasure here to live here in San Diego. I've really enjoyed surfing, camping, hiking, traveling up and down the coast. Living out the California dream has truly been a dream come true. Back in New York, I'm involved with a charity called the Water Collective that's involved with clean water issues in the Sub-Saharan Africa. And really one of the big things that surprised me about moving here to San Diego is a lot of the issues and things we talk about with the charity are actually very pertinent to the water situation here in San Diego. So when you really start to, in the communities that we work in Africa, the water is just completely disgusting. This water leads to waterborne diseases such as typhoid, cholera, and infant deaths are common in these villages. And the sad thing is, women and children spend up to 3 to 5 hours per day traveling through the jungle in order to access this water. Given the water scarcity issues that they have to deal with, it turns out that agriculture is actually extremely important. It turns out that the food that we eat is actually a very, very important determinant in how much water we actually use as a society. One way of measuring this is called the water footprint. It turns out that agriculture actually makes up 92% of our water footprint. So think about that for a second. It's not about not watering your lawns or taking long showers or not ordering water at restaurants. It's the food that we eat that really makes the biggest difference in our individual water's consumption. Oh yeah, a little bit early here. So back to Africa for a second. Cassava is a staple crop, and the reason why that this crop is so widely used is because it's very resistant to droughts and it doesn't require a lot of water to produce. So more luxury items such as duck, fish, chicken, they don't eat as much and they're only reserved for special occasions. Back to California, we typically don't worry about these things. We have many, many different grocery stores to choose from, and when we go to the different grocery stores, we typically don't think about rationing one item versus the other. We just kind of buy whatever we want. But have you ever actually stopped to think about just how much water it takes to produce all the foods and luxury items that we like to buy? So let's take a quick look. Starting with fruits and vegetables, this is the good news. Unfortunately, our favorite item, the avocado here in California, takes a little bit more water to produce than other fruits and veggies, but overall it's really not that bad. Moving on to the meats, this is not such good news. It takes over 1,800 gallons of water just to produce 1 pound of beef. So it's not a coincidence when you go to the grocery store, beef prices are pretty damn expensive. But really the biggest shocker for me when you look at the numbers is the nut family. It actually requires more water to produce 1 pound of almonds than it does 1 pound of beef. And the whole nut family in general is pretty terrible in terms of the amount of water it takes. The reason why this statistic is so important is because California farmers have been reacting to the growth in demand for nuts, and they've been increasing the amount of acreage committed to this nut production. It's not a coincidence that they're doing this. Demand has increased, prices have increased, profitability has increased, so farmers naturally have reacted by increasing production. In fact, big businesses such as hedge funds, pension funds, they've all gotten involved, and they've actually started marketing really hard. We all remember the Super Bowl commercials from the last few years where Stephen Colbert is kind of sitting at his desk and then his head pops open and a green pistachio comes out. Well, it's not a coincidence that they're spending, a ton of money on Super Bowl commercials when prices and productivity and demand has increased. So, in conclusion, next time you go to the grocery store, take a look at your shopping cart, because you'd be surprised. What you're eating is actually the biggest determinant in how much water that you're using. this isn't actually the last slide, but the charity that I work for is called the Water Collective. I encourage you to take a look at our projects in Sub-Saharan Africa. Thank you.